Do you really think I've fallen for you seriously? What? I was not loved by Michael. Being confronted with this reality made me feel dizzy. Michael yelled at me, adding insult to injury. I just wanted a wife who would take care of the housework. Because I'm busy with work every day. And then you go and get sick and hospitalized. I want a divorce from a sick old hag. At that moment, I remembered something I had seen earlier. It made me fearless. Calmly, I replied to Michael. Fine. I have something powerful on my side. So, I don't mind letting go of someone like Michael. Despite him exploiting me and even reconnecting with his ex-girlfriend while I was in the hospital, I plan to give him a piece of my mind. My name is Jocelyn, a recently married 45-year-old housewife. Having not married until my mid-40s, my days were simple. Just commuting between home and work. My pleasures were going out for drinks and shopping. And buying lottery tickets annually as a test of luck, hoping someday for happiness. Then I stumbled upon a dating app for people in their 40s. Although I had attended matchmaking events before, I hadn't been lucky. Starting with light feelings, I never dreamed that this app would lead me to my current husband. He was 3 years older than me, named Michael Brown. A manager in a large company with over 1,000 employees, earning an impressive salary. He seemed serious and hardworking. Curious why such a good man hadn't married, I casually asked him during our first meeting. He replied with a shy smile. Well, I've been so busy with work, I never really had a chance to meet anyone. Indeed, it's understandable for someone in such a demanding job. But Michael, feeling lonely at his age, started using the dating app. His bashful reply and his brilliance were overwhelming. Perhaps from that moment, I began to feel attracted to him. He seemed to like me too, saying, honestly, I never thought I'd find someone through an app. But I'm glad to have met someone like you, Jocelyn. No, I had almost given up on finding someone at my age. I can't believe I met someone as wonderful as you through this app. We both felt it was a miraculous meeting and smiled at each other. It didn't take long for us to consider marriage. Half a year after meeting, we got married. On the eve of our registration, thinking it was my last chance. I bought a lottery ticket, my last as a single person. Right after our wedding, Michael made a request. I'm too busy with work to share household duties. I'd like you to quit your job and stay home. What? Well, my mother was a housewife, so I don't mind focusing on housework. Agreeing to his request, I quit my job and started our seemingly joyful married life. Michael enjoyed my cooking, saying it was delicious. Which made me incredibly happy after so many lonely meals. But the happiness was short-lived. Within a month, Michael's behavior changed dramatically. Initially, even if he was late due to overtime, he'd come straight home after work. But lately, he'd come home in the middle of the night. And say he wasn't hungry because he had already eaten. If only you had told me earlier. I thought, sadly clearing away the food I had prepared. Even on the rare occasions he ate at home, he would look at the meal and complain. Ugh. I come home tired, and you serve me fish I don't like? I can't eat such meager food. Make something with meat. What? But there's no meat today. I'll make a meat dish tomorrow. Please bear with this for today. If there's none, go buy some. I want to eat meat, so make it now. Demanded Michael. Sending me out to buy meat even though it was past 9 p.m. and nearly closing time. His arrogant demands weren't limited to meals. Even if I cleaned meticulously, he would always find something to complain about. Tall Michael would run his finger along high places like the top of a tall cabinet and scold. Look. There's still dust here. Michael would point out places that were too high for me to reach without stepping on a stool. almost as if he were deliberately harassing me. I can't reach those high places often. I'll clean there when we do the major cleaning, so please don't point that out every day. Even if I said that, Michael would reply with disdain. Huh? You're going to leave dust up there until the big cleaning? Shorties are really useless, huh? I was hurt being demeaned for my height. But I didn't dare talk back, fearing what he might say next. I had no choice but to endure his remarks silently. Taking advantage of this, Michael complained about everything I did. He would just lounge around, always saying he was tired. At first, I thought he was a kind person, but day by day, his true colors showed. Nevertheless, having married at this age, I told myself this must be what marriage is like and persevered. However, recently I've been feeling a strange pain in my chest and heart palpitations. What's wrong with me? Well, I think it'll go away soon. I was concerned about the discomfort in my chest, but ignored it for a while. Maybe that was a mistake. My condition gradually worsened, with increasing breathlessness and dizziness. Unable to bear it any longer, I decided to seek medical help. The symptoms were from a heart condition caused by stress. The constant psychological stress was taking a severe toll on my body. I had to be hospitalized for a while. When I went home to prepare for the hospital stay and told Michael, he frowned and said without any concern, "What? A long-term hospitalization? Seriously? What about everything at home? Who's going to do the housework? I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Please manage with takeout or ready-made meals while I'm in the hospital. We have a dryer for the laundry, and I don't think it'll get too dirty with just you here." Hey. Are you telling me to do all the housework? That's impossible, I'm too busy. I'm sorry, but you'll have to manage until I get discharged. I apologized profusely, but Michael remained disgruntled. Seriously, you can't do anything but housework. And now you talk about hospitalization. You're really useless. Remember this when you're discharged. While Michael berated me, I began preparing for the hospital alone. It felt like I was trying to escape the current situation. And I even felt guilty, though it wasn't my fault. The next morning, Michael left for work without seeing me off to the hospital, still in a bad mood. I had no choice but to head to the hospital alone, carrying my bags. Throughout my hospital stay, Michael never visited. I had brought everything I needed, suspecting he might not come. The hospital room felt incredibly lonely. To distract myself from the boredom, I spent my days surfing the internet on my smartphone. Then, I received a strange message notification from Michael that left me shocked. "Tracy, I love you. I'm almost done with work, so wait for me." I was about to mark it as read when the message suddenly showed. This message has been deleted. Who was Tracy? And why such a gentle message to her, something he'd never sent to me? Perhaps Michael was cheating. The thought made my chest tighten with pain, and I hastily pressed the nurse call button. Fortunately, it was just a mild attack. And the pain subsided within 5 minutes following the nurse's advice. The nurse advised me to think of something pleasant, but I couldn't think of anything. Then, I remembered the lottery ticket I had bought before our marriage registration. The draw was yesterday. Trying to distract myself, I checked the lottery results on the official website on my smartphone. The page displayed, "Congratulations on your win." I was so shocked my eyes nearly popped out. No way. Is this a joke? As I was counting the zeros in the amount I had won, the door to my room suddenly opened. And Michael walked in, followed by a woman in her early 30s who looked unfamiliar and flashy. "Hey. Feeling better?" Michael spoke to me in such a carefree tone. How could I be feeling good? I'm hospitalized. Plus, You haven't even shown your face until now. Of course. Who do you think has been busy because of whom? I've had a hard time juggling work and housework. Michael continued to stress his own difficulties and showed no concern for my condition. I responded with a puzzled look. Oh, that's too bad. Sorry for the inconvenience. Michael wasn't fazed by my unhappy demeanor and smirked back. You're really not cute, Jocelyn. Well, no worries now. You can stay in the hospital as long as you like. What do you mean by that? His words were ominous, and anxiety flickered through my mind again. Then, Michael put his arm around the woman's shoulder with a smug look and said, Now, she's taking care of things for me. Right, Tracy. Tracy was the name from the message. She smiled warmly at Michael's side. Who is this woman? Surprised, huh? Since you were useless. I contacted my ex-girlfriend Tracy here. She still loves me, so she came running. Michael boasted proudly. I tried to remain calm and asked. An old acquaintance has come to take care of things? I'm sorry for the trouble. I still need to stay in the hospital for a while. As I spoke, they both burst out laughing. This wife of yours is a bit funny, isn't she? She doesn't understand anything. Well, can't help it, right? She hadn't been with a man until her mid-40s. Michael and Tracy looked at me with complete disdain. I knew they were making fun of me, and I wanted to retort that I knew about their affair. But getting worked up would only stress my heart more. So, I chose to stay calm. However, Michael then said something unbelievable. Anyway, I don't need a frail old woman anymore. I'm going to be with Tracy forever. Saying this, Michael thrust a piece of paper with green writing at me. It was a divorce notice. Even though I had been staying calm, I couldn't hide my disturbance. Why? She's an ex-girlfriend, right? You chose to be with me after her, and now you want to go back to her. As I asked this, Michael replied with an exasperated look. Do you really think I ever truly loved you? What? I was never truly loved by Michael. Confronted with that harsh reality, my head began to spin. Michael lashed out at me, adding insult to injury. That's why. All I ever wanted was a wife to take care of the housework. Because I'm so busy with work every day. And then you go and get sick and end up in the hospital. I want a divorce from a sick old hag. As I felt the darkness closing in around me, I remembered something I had seen earlier. With that in mind, I regained my composure and retorted. Fine. Michael was taken aback by my unexpected reaction. What? Are you serious? You have nowhere to go if I leave you, and yet you act so tough. I'm not trying to act tough. More importantly, make sure to file this divorce application properly, please. I signed the divorce papers handed to me and returned them to Michael. Okay, I'll take care of it. I'll file it tomorrow. While Michael said this, he still looked puzzled. Tracy was staring at me with disdain, a sly smile on her face. Even if you're desperate because you're struggling? You couldn't possibly match my youth and beauty. You must have come to terms with that. Right? I'm proud too. I get to have Tracy, who was the top girl at the nightclub, all to myself. Even when we were dating, I had resigned myself to the idea that a guy as old as me would soon be dumped. No matter how popular I was at the club, I've always been devoted to Michael. Let's file our marriage registration as soon as the divorce papers are processed. Club? Top girl. Michael hastily covered his mouth as I reacted. So he had been going to that kind of place while pretending to work hard. Now that I think about it, There were nights he claimed to have worked overtime and came home smelling of alcohol. His claims of having dinner out because of late work seemed suspicious. Seeing the suspicion on my face, Tracy spoke up. "Does it matter? Michael and I are going to be together anyway. You're no longer needed, old hag." With that, Tracy grabbed Michael's arm tightly and they left. While I was enduring a tough hospital stay, Michael had decided to remarry his affair partner. I couldn't forgive him. Even if we broke up, I just feel relieved, but first, I wanted to give him a taste of his own medicine. With that thought, I began planning my revenge against Michael. After a period of resting in the hospital room, my condition steadily improved and I was finally allowed to be discharged. Since Michael had remarried and moved to Tracy's apartment, I would live alone in our former residence. Upon returning home, I immediately went to the designated bank to cash in my winning lottery ticket. Due to the amount, it would take about a week to receive the funds. During that time, I researched online for a good lawyer. I wanted the lawyer to investigate Michael's past relationships. Was his relationship with Tracy really over before we married? If they had continued their relationship, I could claim compensation. Once the lottery money was safely in my account, I hired a lawyer and requested an investigation. The results confirmed that Michael and Tracy had indeed continued their relationship. Tracy, a former nightclub worker, had indeed been the top girl at the club as Michael had said. They had been involved since then and had never truly broken up. So, Michael had continued his relationship with her while marrying me just to have a housekeeper. The thought made my blood boil. However, to avoid worsening my health, I had to stay calm. While I felt like screaming at Michael and demanding compensation right then, I decided to leave everything to my lawyer and wait for the right time. Soon after, Michael called me. "Hey. Why did a lawyer suddenly show up demanding compensation for cheating? What's this all about?" "Well, the lawyer's right. You better pay up quickly, or I might just sue." "Shut up. First of all, where did you get the money to hire a lawyer? Lawsuits cost money, you know. And you must have spent a fortune on hospital bills." Unaware, Michael tried to use my supposed lack of funds against me. But his careless words would backfire. "That's true. You didn't even pay for my hospital bills while we were married. I talked to the lawyer, and it turns out I can charge you for that too." Ugh. Thanks to Michael's thoughtless remark, I was able to proceed advantageously. Realizing his mistake, Michael had nothing to retort. From the other end of the phone, I could hear a woman's voice. "Give it to me for a second." Likely, Tracy was eavesdropping. "Hey. Do you even have the right to claim compensation? You just fell ill and neglected your husband. I took care of him instead, so if anything, you should be paying us."
Ah.
Right. That's true. Buoyed by having Tracy as his staunch ally, Michael's tone grew confident. Yet, I responded calmly. "Really? Didn't the lawyer tell you?" The investigation confirmed that Michael continued his relationship with Tracy even after our marriage. I hired a competent lawyer, so there's no escaping the truth. Stop bluffing. I've been saying this, but there's no way you have that kind of money. Oh, that too. Despite your high income. Michael, you only gave me $1,700 a month for living expenses. I had to manage rent, utilities, and food with that, which was tough. That might be worth suing over, don't you think? Indeed, Michael's treatment of me had been terrible in every aspect. No matter what he said now, it would only dig his grave deeper. If it came to a lawsuit, it was clear I would have the upper hand. Keeping a meticulous household budget app would serve as evidence. Michael still thought I was just bluffing. A competent lawyer, really? That lawyer of yours probably isn't all that great. Anyway, I won't be fooled. As Michael fumbled, I prepared for the legal battle ahead. Confident in my position and backed by incontrovertible evidence of his ongoing deceit. When Michael said that, I sent him the link to the homepage of the law firm I had found online via message. The lawyer I hired is from this law firm. You've got their business card, right? The homepage included a photo of the lawyer currently handling my case. Seeing that page, Michael must have been astonished. Isn't this a pretty famous law firm? Really? Where did you get the money to hire a lawyer from there? Hearing Michael's flustered voice, it seemed like a good time to reveal the truth. Actually, I won $5 million in the lottery this year, including the jackpot. What? Both Michael and Tracy seemed shocked by my revelation. No way. I never heard about you buying a lottery ticket. I bought it with money I earned before we got married. So, I didn't think I needed to report every little thing to you, did I? There was a pause of silence after my response. Then, in a panicked tone, Michael said, "You're at home right now, right?" "I'm coming over right now." "Wait for me." What could Michael possibly want to do by coming over now? About 20 minutes later, he arrived at my house alone. Surprisingly, he seemed to be in good spirits. "Jocelyn. I came to talk about dividing our assets." Asset division? The nerve of him, coming over so cheerfully, I wondered what he was thinking. I was dumbfounded by the absurdity.
Yeah.
You bought the lottery ticket before we were married. But you cashed it after we were married, right? Doesn't that mean I have the right to half of it as it's part of our marital property? Unfortunately for you, that's not going to work. The cashing happened after our divorce was finalized, and more importantly, the divorce was due to your infidelity. Don't say that. We were once married, after all. Can't you just give me a quarter of it at least? Michael pleaded with me, clasping his hands together. I rebuffed him sharply. No way. Not only is there no asset division, but you also owe me compensation. About that. Michael seemed desperate to come up with something that would work in his favor. Look, I was actually deceived by that woman. She was just dazzled by my job and came after me because I work nights. She's got plenty of other customers and other men she's, seeing. And? What's your point? Basically, I'm a victim of deception, not really cheating. Of course, I'll break up with her and never cheat again. So, can we start over? I was astounded by his audacity. Do you really think such excuses will work? There's no doubt you cheated. Look, there's plenty of evidence right here. I said this as I scattered photos across the table, gathered by my lawyer, showing Michael engaging intimately with Tracy outside a hotel. And at a secluded park, clear evidence of his infidelity. Damn it. Gathering all this stuff. Frustrated, Michael picked up the photos. Just then, Tracy appeared as if to deliver the final blow. It seemed she had followed Michael but stayed hidden to watch the situation unfold. Hey. Michael. Who are you saying deceived you? Oh, come on. You were the one who came crying to me. Tracy, you heard that. Everything was falling apart for Michael. Tracy, having heard all his selfish arguments, looked furious. Don't you dare underestimate me just because I used to work at a nightclub. I really loved you even after we broke up. What are you going to do about these feelings now? I mean, I'm sorry. Trapped between two angry women, Michael had shrunk considerably. I was really happy when you came to rely on me. Now that you've trampled over my feelings, you'll have to pay me compensation too. Hey. Why should I have to pay compensation to a mistress too? Mistress? We were properly married, even if it was for just under a month. Well, it started from an affair, so, that. Watching Michael struggle, I almost burst out laughing. Michael. You should know, women's hearts aren't so easily played with. Michael seemed utterly disheartened by my words. It looked like everything was settling down. So I decided it was time to call someone else who had been listening in. You can come out now. What? There's someone else here? At my call, the person who had been waiting in the next room came in. Hello. I've heard everything. Ah. You're the lawyer from that time. Yes, this lawyer had told me to contact him anytime if something happened. So when Michael said he was coming over, I immediately called the lawyer, who discreetly entered through the back door and waited in the next room. Mr. Brown. As Mrs. Brown told you, you have no rights to the property division. And about the compensation, now that Ms. Tracy's concerns have been added, we'll need to revisit that. Stunned by what the lawyer said, Michael stood there gaping, in a daze. With everything resolved, I breathed a sigh of relief. After securing compensation from Michael and splitting his income during our marriage, it seems he is now living alone, having also divorced Tracy. However, Michael's company, a major corporation with strict rules, caught wind of his affairs and consecutive divorces, leading to his dismissal. He was already under scrutiny by his superiors due to his flashy relationships with women. The news of his latest divorce scandal leaked quickly. I haven't met Michael since then, but I learned of these developments from Tracy, his affair partner, who came to apologize to me, regretting her actions. I'm sorry. I'll pay the compensation for the affair bit by bit from my earnings. So please wait for it. While Tracy apologized, I declined to accept any compensation from her. It turns out Tracy hasn't held a steady job since leaving the nightclub. Initially, she managed with her savings, but her lavish spending habits haven't changed. And now she's depleted her funds. This situation drove her to cling to the financially stable Michael, hoping to secure a future together. But, even though it may sound like an excuse, it's true, I really loved Michael. Her eyes were sincere when she said she had loved Michael all along. That's why I decided to settle things amicably with Tracy. On the other hand, Michael, having lost his job and being burdened with compensation payments to both me and Tracy, was in financial trouble and eventually got evicted from his apartment. Then, with a desperate look, he came to me. Jocelyn, I really messed up. Please forgive me just this time. From now on, I'll do anything you say, just let me stay here. Oh, and of course, I'm not asking for money, just to stay. In response to his pitiful plea, I casually replied, sure, you can stay here as long as you like. Really? Oh, you're a lifesaver. I allowed Michael into the house for the time being. However, that night, while Michael was sleeping, I packed up my belongings. I had been searching for a new place to move, and I had just finalized the arrangements a few days prior. By dawn, when Michael woke up, the moving truck was already there. Hey. What's going on? Why are you packing up? Where are you going? Oh, I was planning to move out today. You know this is a rental, right? From now on, you'll need to pay the rent yourself. It's $1,000 a month. What? There's no way I can afford that right now. You tricked me. I haven't tricked you. I just said you could stay here as long as you like. Good luck paying the rent. Bye. I left the house after that, canceled my phone contract, and ensured Michael could never contact me again. I didn't reveal my new address either. Sometime later, I randomly met the landlord of the house where Michael and I had lived. He told me Michael had to move out because he couldn't pay the rent. No one knows where he went after that. As for me, I bought a luxurious high-rise apartment and am living a comfortable life, enjoying a spectacular cityscape view. Since separating from Michael, I've been free from stress and have fully recovered. There's a fitness room on the first floor of my building where I exercise daily. I also adopted a Pomeranian, Mocha, who has become my dear family member. Despite winning $5 million in the lottery, I couldn't just idle away my time. I enjoy working. So I reached out for re-employment at the company I worked for before getting married. Coincidentally, on the day I moved, I saw a job posting for a position at my previous employer. They had struggled to find a suitable replacement after I left. When I reached out, my former boss was delighted to have me back. Now, I'm settled in a comfortable home and familiar workplace environment. Truly living my ideal lifestyle. Although I wasn't lucky in marriage, I am now fully enjoying life on my terms. For me, this is the greatest happiness.